It is with great sadness to say that I don't think I'm actually going to be able to take part in the Global Smooth Flotilla. It's been a tough couple of days, to be honest with you, but I was willing to accept the nausea, constant seasickness, people snoring in my room, being away from my kids, ultimately probably conceivably ending up in the custody of the most psychopathic army the world has ever seen. I put up with all that, but I mean, everyone has their limit. Stop the boats.
Do you have a flag on display in your home? On your home?
Yeah. We actually have Union Jack bunting on our garden shed at the moment. I've got St George's flags, I've got St George's bunting, I've got the Yorkshire Rose bunting as well. I've got Union Jack flags and tablecloths.
We've got the St George's flag in our flat.
Did you see that? Did you?
Evening, good people. How are you doing this Tuesday Brews Day? Welcome to the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm your host Lefty. You're all very welcome on the stream this evening. Solidari-Tea. Hope you like that little intro that we put together there. We'll be getting into the topics that you saw in those clips, plus lots more on tonight's stream. Please do hit thumbs up as you join us. I'm your host Lefty, by the way. Did I already say that? I might have already said that. But it's not about me. The messenger is not important. It is the message. I may have Moshi on toast, who was first in the chats. And Zuki shortly behind. Good to see you. Flow Snake. Thanks for throwing up the watermelons. Nicola Curtin. Hope you're doing well up there over the border. Stu, great to see you. Hope you're well. Alwyn Halsey is also with us, and Doc Davies. Zuki, good to see you making use of static emojis. just one of the benefits of being a member on the channel. I'll be giving a proper shout out to all members shortly, of course. JK is with us in the chat as well. Great to see so many people arriving. Bilderberg, hope you're brewing well. And Morbius, we've got through as well. I'm going to do a couple of shout outs actually for a couple of people in the chat. It was Moshi who was first in the chat this evening, as I mentioned. I did do an interview a couple of weeks back after that last Defend Our Juries protest. So please do check that out if you want to hear more about Moshi's side of events from the day. Really did enjoy that. It was really good to connect with a viewer on the channel as well. Awesome stuff. Do check that out, it's in the content. I did 3 interviews overall. Also a shout out for Morbius's channel. Morbius in the chat there. Those of you who might have been out in your garden today, perhaps, or your allotments, or your greenhouse, or whatever it may be, check out Morbius's channel if you happen to be horticultural. Or if not, because it's always good to show solidarity with your fellow viewers, of course. And you good people are always guaranteed a plug and a shout out here on My Left Eye. As are the members, especially. So as I said, cordially bring up the members roster, marvellous members on the channel. The Brew crew. Followers of developing. It's not a cult, nor is it a religion based on any sort of deity, but Brewdism. It's just a state of mind that's particularly socialist, it has to be said. Good to see some new names on the list as well. Hope you're all enjoying your memberships. Hope you've been making use of your perks. Exclusive content, early viewings and all that business. Static emojis. I saw Zuki using the Starmer one there. And Bilderberg as well. I was trying to catch me up with the names. Good to see you all also doing well. Nicola, Polanski obviously was announced the winner of the leadership contest in the Green Party today, of course. We'll be giving my 2 cents on that as well. But apparently, I assume you're referring to Curtis from Turn Left, saying it's his win's good for the left, but you disagree. Well, we'll be getting into that a bit later on. Quite a few different topics this evening, actually, people. We have that. I'll be kicking off with Badenoch's latest lunacy, if you want to put it that way. Goodness me. Well, I'll be kicking off with that story shortly. But for another reason, just because that's going to be the subject of this evening's poll on the channel. That story all will be revealed. Got the comedy clip coming up in a moment or two. Also got the latest on this far-right nonsense that's happening at the moment, the flaggery, the roundaboutery. When we look back on this in a few years, hopefully with distant memory. So, do you remember all that roundaboutery in 25? Oh yeah, the old roundaboutery, yeah, all that flaggerisation. So a little bit about that, plus defend our juries. Obviously, the next protest at Parliament Square is scheduled. This channel will be there. We'll be speaking with some of the participants and bringing you exclusive content on Sunday's live stream. But today, earlier this morning in fact, 5 people involved with Defend Our Juries had the houses raided. By the way, we're talking about senior figures. I'll get into the ins and outs a bit later, but before I do, just be very clear, none of the sitters, as they're referred to, it's all about Zoom calls and this sort of thing again. But nonetheless, the protest is still going to go ahead as scheduled, so as I said, we'll be there. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well, make sure you don't miss out on any upcoming content on the channel. That's going to be a good one on Sunday, make sure you don't miss that, usually on around 7-8 PM. Unlike during the week, we've not done ourselves in by putting a name of the time in the title of the stream, so it's actually more flexible. We know where you're going to be at 10 o'clock, mate. We know where you're going to be. Well, it's always 10 something PM somewhere, isn't it? You know. Stu celebrating 3 months of membership. Thank you very much for sticking with us on the channel. Ordin Allfathers here as well. Ian McKenna as well. Andy Carter. Good to see so many people in the chat earlier on in the stream. And if you're not subscribed already, please make sure you're subscribed. And then you can join us in the chat just 60 seconds later. Should also say, double check, I'll point out, a recent update on YouTube has combined several features into one button, so the subscribe button isn't just for subscribing, it can also be for joining the channel with a membership, for example, and other things. It's not been released in every country yet, but just make sure, because I'll be honest, I've fallen foul of it myself. I've opened YouTube, seen a thumbnail I like or by a uploader that I like, hit the video, seen the subscribe button and thought, I'm sure I was subscribed to this channel, how on earth am I not subscribed to this channel? I'll hit the button. And then lo and behold, I've accidentally unsubscribed from the channel. So just double check what you're doing there. But one final quick pluggy bit about the channel before I play the opening comedy clip. There's a new feature which again is sort of an old feature that's been rebranded in a way. There used to be a thing when you hit the 3 lines in the top left, as it normally is, I think, called trending. A lot of you have been using YouTube for a while, they're familiar with trending, but there's now a new feature which has replaced that with a few upgrades as well. So just want to take a quick moment to talk about that without shouting, or with the background music, turn that down. So yeah, this is where you can help out the channel. You can create hype for My Left Eye, if you see the hype button there, and essentially that puts the video into what used to be the trending category. Now it affects the algorithm differently than sharing videos and content and whatnot. I mean, it does help out the channel. It does put you in that for anybody who follows hyped videos, basically. And the more hypes you get, the higher up the list you go. And I think it's like a point space that you have, an imaginary currency, as it were, a number of points that you can spend or use on hype videos. I think it's limited to however many videos you want to hype. So yeah, I urge you, please go to our content, pick a video that you've seen recently that you like, and hit the hype button. Because I'll be honest, this is a new thing, so I don't know what it's going to be doing for channels. Just noticed it in one of the recent updates. Oh, excuse me. And had a look into it. Oh, it took you 5 minutes to find the flag. It's the word of the week. I was the word of the month. Last month, rolling into the 2nd day of September. The first stream in September 2025. Right, okay. Let's get started with clips and things. This is from a YouTuber that I've played before, but not for a while. The Juice Media, really good. We're going to get on to climate change and fossil fuels and things like this within the Badenoch story. For anybody who's not heard about that, basically, she wants to bring back fossil fuels. She wants to erase the ban. It's her version of Drill Baby Drill. We'll go into that after this opening comedy clip from the Juice Media. So go there and subscribe. Highly recommend them. Now, when you think about, let's say, CO2 output per capita and the countries that might come into mind, if I use that statistic or that yardstick, as it were. There's one country that probably won't be among the first that come into your head. You might be thinking, oh, obviously, the United States of America would be big contenders, or perhaps China, India, massive, obviously, developing country at the moment, and so on and so forth. But no, this one might surprise you, and it's the subject of the opening comedy video, which is about Norway.
Visit Norway, land of majestic fjords and mythical folklore figures, trolls, elves, climate leaders, as well as to ancient rituals like taco fredag and delicacies like crumb cake and the fuck? Hi, I'm from the government of Norway, the most environmentally superior country on earth. We drive more EVs than you, use more renewable energy than you. We're basically the Greta Thunberg of nations. If Greta owned ExxonMobil, Norway, we're just better than you. Fuck you. Now please rise for our national anthem. Sure, we're also a huge petro-state that exports more emissions per capita than almost anyone else. And we're aggressively investing in new oil and gas extraction, which means the net benefit of all those EVs we drive comes to approximately fuck all. But hey, at least we tax our fossil fuel exports, unlike these idiots who give them away for free. And we use our oil money to fund the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, our pride and joy, which we use to invest in more fossil fuel companies and even war criminals. Our PM says we can't stop funding a genocide. But don't worry, our oil fund sold half its investments in Israel, and we feel funding half a genocide is the right balance. Responsible investment. Such bold leadership is reflected in other areas areas, like not stopping these lice-infested farms from wiping out wild salmon and banning commercial whaling. Just kidding, we still subsidise that. Speaking of subsidising bullshit, we just launched another carbon capture project to greenwash Equinor, which just got caught lying about how much carbon it's capturing and blew billions on failed oil and gas investments that made Norwegians poorer. Hello, I'm from Equinor, Norway's state-owned energy company. You might remember us from our greatest hits, like being told to piss off from the Great Australian Bight. Now we're being told to piss off from Rosebank, the UK's largest untapped oil field. Why? We even funded a nice computer game that promotes fossil fuels to British school kids. Call it Equinormal. Okay, that's messed up, but how else do we stop kids from blockading our oil refineries? Unless we brainwash them early with Petroganda. Petroganda is Norway's official religion. It's what happens when a country relies too much on oil money and its head gets wedged so far up Equinor's arse, Thor couldn't dislodge it even if he tried. If he did, Norwegians would realise they don't need new oil and gas to stay rich, and that Europe doesn't need new oil and gas to replace Russian imports. And most importantly, Norwegians would realise this election is their chance to elect a government that's not wedged up Equinor's arse by voting for minor parties with not shit climate policies, instead of our shit light and unfiltered shit parties. So vote wisely, Norway, or we might end up exporting things the world actually needs, like Aurora. And the world is watching, because if Norway, one of the world's richest countries with strong democracy and labour laws, can't lead the world on climate, who can? Not these cunts, that's for sure. Visit Norway. Hadebra hast kuka. Authorised by the Department for not finding this amusing, coming from Aussies who can't even tax their fucking gas companies.
Another great honest government ad there from the Juice Media. Go and check them out. So even I'm an avid follower of climate change statistics, countries who are responsible and whatnot, especially my own country. But even I was surprised by a few revelations. They're the sort of the stealthy emitter. They don't make a lot of noise on the global stage, really, as a country. The complete polar opposite, obviously, of what's happening in the United States under Trump. But still, there is something afoot underneath that stealthy cloak. No way. There we go. I brought the membership goal up as well during that vid. We're on 107 out of 250, so thank you very much for all of your contributions, people. One important thing as well, where that's concerned, is to make sure that you renew at the end of your monthly membership. That does go a great way to helping us build towards the goal, towards the target. Wonderful. Yeah, always love a good, honest government ad. Oh, pre-warning, there might be some strong language in that clip that was just played. Responsible streaming here on My Left Eye. So on that note, on the note of fossil fuels, that I've mentioned many a time here on the channel, and it came up in that opening clip as well. There's no excuse for record high bills at the moment here in the UK. The excuse that was given was the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Now bearing in mind that we only got 4% of natural gas and nothing else from Russia, and that was a pretty miserable excuse. But as far as misery goes, and sorry excuses, as well as in years down the road, when we look back at 25 and talk about the flaggery and the roundaboutery And we might also think, do you remember that person who used to be leader of the opposition after Starmer got in? What was she called? Yeah, and the way that she's going, there's a perfectly good reason for that now. She thinks that we should bring back fossil fuel usage and start to drill immediately. Now let's see what's happening. I'm just going to nip over to the screen. I just have to quickly resize this. There she is. And this will bring me on to, as I said, the topic of this evening's poll on the stream, which hasn't been launched yet, don't worry if you can't see it. All of the oil and all of the gas. That's what she's going for. Scrap net zero requirements. What was it David Cameron said when he got in? Notoriously cut the green crap. That was in 2010. We just had the hottest summer ever, which was, as predicted, bang on 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels on average. And what is she thinking? Well, first of all, she clearly thinks, for some reason, that...
Visit Norway, land of...
Sorry, don't know what that happened. I was just scrolling up, for God's sake. Prepare the engineers, Philip. No, I'm joking. What was it? Yeah, she probably thinks that she's going to be the leader at the next election. But some of us have our doubts. Let's put it that way. Yeah, coming. Yeah. No one's going to be voting for Kemi. Literally 0 people are going to be voting for Kemi Badenoch at the next election, because she's not going to be standing for the Tories at the next election. But apparently, she seriously thinks that she is.
Pull the other one!
Let's just have another bit of a look through this article. And she's doing the same old... She's trying to claim that it's to lower people's bills. My God, how far away, how detached from reality can you get? I'll put my teeth in. Seriously, we all know it's renewables that are going to lower people's bills if properly applied, because they're so much cheaper to set up. Excuse me. But even Labour know that that's bollocks. They said, we'll take no lectures from Kemi Badenoch. Every family and business paid the price of the Conservatives' failure to secure the UK's energy. I don't think Labour are doing enough. Of course, by any means. But even they know this is stark raving lunacy. A reminder as well, Rishi Sunak was out there on the streets protesting quite a lot against this particular stuff. 100 new licences. It was 130 something, I think, in the end, between himself. Even Truss managed to squeeze a few in, I think, in the, 40 days that she was Prime Minister. And of course, BP have U-turned on the level of investment in renewables to focus on increasing oil and gas production in order to boost profitability. Just a few years ago, the head of BP said they have more money than they know what to do with. And then they did announce these apparently green initiatives. And then they thought, no, let's just make more money. We need more to not know what to do with. Evening, Graham. Great to see you in the chat. How are you brewing? And Michael's with us as well. Andy Carter, thanks a lot for the gifted membership. Apologies, just scrolling up the chat there. That means I need to adjust the membership goal. 108. Lefty, you require 142. As I just mentioned, research shows that 2024 was the first calendar year where global average temperatures were more than 1.5 Celsius above pre-industrial levels. And also, this year's summer was the hottest on record, as we now come into meteorological autumn. That is fall, for anybody watching in the States. The UK was one of 200 countries to sign the Paris Agreement, who agreed to pursue efforts to limit global temperature rises to 1.5 and keep them well below 2 degrees Celsius. Unfortunately, we are past the point of no return where that's concerned. At the moment, not only have we already gone over 1.5, we are heading not just to 2 degrees, but beyond. Listen closely, people. These might seem like incremental changes, but for every fraction of a degree, you're talking about the failures of several ecosystems, the enhancements of extreme weather, and so on and so forth. Crop failure comes into this a lot as well. So that's around 2 degrees, but we're heading towards 3.6 at the moment, people. And if we go past 4, then we're looking at potential extinction. Yes, I use that word not hyperbolically at all, very realistically. He tries to say. This is bollocks. So yeah, I'm going to set up a poll now. Just to see what you think might be other things that Kemi wants to bring back. So it's oil and gas at the moment. Got a shortlist here. Just 1 second. I hope you're going to like this. So the question would be, which other things would Kemi Badenoch bring back apart from fossil fuels? That is, fossil fuel licenses, of course. So, I've got 5 choices. You select the one you think is most likely, I guess. Nearly there, people. Get ready to vote. Be prepared to vote. Oh, does it only let you have 4? I've got 5. Well, yeah, I'll leave that last one. That'll take the longest to type anyway. Let's get this motherfucking poll on the go. Apologies for the French there. So, which other things would Kemi Badenoch bring back apart from fossil fuels? Launch the poll, Phil. Engage. We have 4 selections. That's lead pipe. That should be lead in piping, by the way. Mercury in hat production, formaldehyde, or asbestos insulation. So that's lead in piping, which I think was banned a good while back, but maybe 50 years ago or something like that. It's not been entirely eradicated. Mercury in hat production, which used to be used. That's where the term mad as a hatter comes from, of course, doesn't it? Badenoch. Formaldehyde obviously caused terrible birth defects during the 1960s. And asbestos insulation, which used to be used even in schools in the UK, I believe. Proven to cause several cancers. If I was allowed 5, the other one was going to be radioactive science kits for kids, which used to be a thing. But YouTube lets you have 4 selections on the poll, so please do make your selection. I wish there was an edit function, but just to be clear, that lead, it's not lead, by the way. It's lead piping in the sewers. In fact, didn't you know, people, it was the Romans who first did this in plumbing, which is why the symbol for lead is PB. My left eye, get your facts in your face. Asbestos baby clothing. Flammable pyjamas was going to be one of the selections. Oh yeah. It's a death trap out there, isn't it? Thalidomide, sorry. Yeah, apologies. Not formaldehyde. That's something else. Thalidomide. Well, I'm not relaunching the poll now. People have already started voting. If you need any clarity on anything, please just ask in the chat. Okay, we'll move on to Polanski stuff in a moment. That's more or less the ins and outs of the story. For what it's worth, this woman who isn't going to be representing the Tories at the next election has had a ridiculous thought. And tomorrow's news will be that water is wet, so that's Kemi Badenoch. If you put a brain into a sheep's body, it would fucking moo. What's next? Zach Polanski, of course. Today's winner of the Green Party leadership race. No shock, no surprise, except to say that the margin was even higher than I imagined. I've been saying for a while it was all over bar the shouting. I was imagining somewhere along a 65-35 split. However, it was nearly more like 85 to 15%. And, well, I guess I'm just showing the amount of popularity that there was for Zach, but also not bragging in saying that this channel has more subscribers than Ellie Jones and Adrian Ramsey got in votes, as they garnered but 3,500. Oh, Michael, you think that was still too close for comfort? 85 to 15. He hit the ground running and he was ahead all the way. There was never any two ways about it, really. He's been very clear about his vision for the party. I voted for the Green Party at the last election, it's worth saying. Before I also mention, I think that Zach's right in saying that the Green Party can do a lot more. I think that his message was a lot more optimistic. I'm generalising here, but from what we heard from Ellie Jones and Adrian Ramsey, they were worried that Zach, they said in their campaigning that Zach would ruin what they'd already achieved, obviously getting a record amount of seats for the party. Although it is 4 seats, quadruple, what they used to have. I agree with Zach. I think that they could do more. I would have obviously liked to have seen them do better at the last election. But they're perhaps too restrained. They need to clearly and directly appeal to socialists. And that is what Zach is doing. That is what Zach is saying that he's doing as well. And he's using the word, the S word, the one that the mainstream media would avoid like the plague. Got a couple of clips coming up. Could actually do a bit of not a massive deep dive, but a bit of a synopsis. He did an in-depth extended interview with Channel 4 earlier on, I think. So I do have that available in my arsenal if you want to go into that in more detail. We'll see how we get into the conversation. I would like to hear your thoughts in the chat. But Nicola, you think that he's not a genuine socialist? Well, here's the thing. I do obviously like the sound of what Polanski is saying. This is a former actor who got into politics. I found myself nodding along with a lot of his campaigning stuff. As far as how much I know about the guy, I have to say not a great deal. That is with which to judge his genuity. Now, I hope that he means what he says. We've seen what Starmer's done. He preaches one message, the next thing you know he's destroying that message, stabbing people in the back for his own political gain. No, I'm not directly saying that that is what Polanski's going to do, but a lot of people have put their trust in him within the party. I'm not a member myself. I mentioned I voted for them. I'm not an actual party member. Although I do know the candidate who was in my constituency. That is, I knew them for a while before they stood. And that's not the only reason that I voted for them, though. Just reading through some more of your comments. Sorry if I get a little sidetracked here, people, but I'd like to keep you involved with the conversation. One thing he has challenged, which we'll get on to obviously, is this rhetoric over migration. The Greens naturally have a pretty sound policy where environment's concerned. That is, again, I agree with everything that Zach's been saying with that. But he will have to follow up. Another important point, I guess I'll come on to this after I play a clip or two, is about unity with other parties. I'm not going to judge what I think is going to happen by anything that was said by him today, just to be clear. Maybe just a few opening feelers out there, but really what I'm hoping and aspiring to happen is a good collaboration, which is very simple. It needn't be complex in any matter whatsoever if they both really do want to challenge the right wing. Being very direct towards Starmer, telling Keith, "We are here to replace you." While he's made a name for himself as a feisty media performer among the party faithful, he's little known outside London Assembly, where he's an elected member. Beating 2 of the party's 4 MPs to leadership, the 42-year-old has already faced down the charge that he doesn't have the establishment heft of those elected to Parliament in a first-past-the-post system. I guess what he would say to that is, that doesn't matter, the point is that he is something new. This is a different way of not just it's not just different policies, it's different politics altogether. He's mentioned PR and other political and voting reform, for example. So the fact that you don't fit in with this established system, which, by the way, you're trying to end because it's outdated and undemocratic. There's only ourselves and I always get it mixed up. It's either Albania or Bulgaria that use first past the post in Europe. And of course, other countries in the UK have PR as well, north of the border. Don't worry, Scott's in the chat. We hate England as well. Well, we just hate the way it's being run, I guess. Personally speaking, I'm all for Scottish independence. We have a common enemy, and that is what we must focus on, and that is Westminster, the right-wing, neoliberal, successive governments of Britain. And most people argue this began even as far back as the 1970s, just about, when Thatcher got in. 79, that was, 1979. As well, was I? Yeah, just he won't be effective, he won't be a good leader because he's not established within the first past the post system or Parliament. That's that argument's a non-starter as far as I'm concerned. That's the way my left eye sees it. So let's just get a little bit about his background. So born just outside Manchester in the city of Salford in 1982. That makes him 43. He is gay and also Jewish. That's a way to kick off a sentence. He is gay and also Jewish, changing his name from David Paulden when he reached 18 in order to embrace the identity erased by his family's anglicised surname, as well as to differentiate himself from his stepdad, who had the same first name. Interesting. He's also, clearly as well, for the record, an outspoken anti-Zionist and has called for Free Palestine. Just the way the baby, well, they're asked again. Might be time to write another letter, people. Dear Bibi C. His first foray into politics was joining Lib Dem. Now, this is, a party he now criticises as being insufficiently left-wing and standing unsuccessfully for Camden Council in the London Assembly. Joined the Greens in 2017, working as a local party chairman before getting, so he's been with the Greens for a good while, good 8 years. Has he really sort of gotten rid of his Liberal Democrat past, though? Was that, I don't know. A road in, a way in? I'm just asking these questions. They have to be. I'm very pleased that he's won the leadership race. I think he's certainly the most preferable candidate, as far as I know. Another reason where progress is concerned, just back to those accusations by his competitors in the race, that they were worried that he would either throw away or hinder the progress of the party. I've seen on a national level, a lot of people are obviously focusing on reform and how many seats that Labour are losing and whatnot. But the Greens certainly seem to be sort of, treading water. The tyres are spinning in the mud, as it were. And it's kind of strange because of all the parties, we've seen slight oscillations where the other parties are concerned in their polling levels. But with the Greens, it's, like I said, fairly consistent. You'll see different polls, or they might get an extra 2 seats at the next general election, an extra 4 seats, 1 seat, whatnot. But I seldom recall one where I've seen them losing seats. Out of all of the parties at the next election, I dare say that they're maybe the only one likely to win more than projected, apart from maybe your party, of course. And that does bring me on to the clip. I won't read through the full article. I'm just going to play a quick clip from his acceptance speech. And then I'll see how we're doing for time. We've got a few different things to talk about tonight, but I might do a little bit of that Channel 4 News interview.
This evening, but what about straight after this? I am straight to UVW, that's United Voices of the World. This is a migrants' union. And let's be clear, this is a total show of intent of what this party is. We listen to the poorest communities, whether they're migrant communities, disabled communities, the trans community, working class communities. Whoever needs us to have their back, we will be there. We will be there to amplify their voices, to listen to the most marginalised and minority communities, to speak with them, not for them, and challenge truth to power, to take on power and wealth in this country. And we absolutely recognise that migrants are very much the backbone of this country. Our country has problematic history that we also need to come to terms with, but also we have a beautiful history.
Yeah, sorry to just quickly interrupt. I forgot to mention just earlier, all the hype obviously in the polls is about reform, unfortunately, at the moment. The mainstream media won't shut up about Farage. He's been on Question Time 39 times. We'll have to see if Polanski appears now that he's leader. Corbyn's been on once, Zara Sultana, never. But did you know that the Green Party are actually enticing people away from Labour at least the same rate that Reform are, if not higher? But you don't hear the mainstream media mentioning that. As far as they're concerned, everyone is going straight across. That's not the case. But I do firmly believe that the Greens can entice people away from Reform, and that's fundamentally what matters.
A beautiful present and a beautiful future of what we are when communities come together. So let's have a very clear Green Party message. Our communities will always stand together.
Well, speaking of standing together, let's hope that your party and the Greens can make a proper agreement. There won't be an official coalition or anything like this, but for optimum success, where Socialists are concerned at the next general election, I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. I'll say it on every stream for the next 4 years if I have to. Just put one Socialist candidate on each ballot. You can decide how that's split between yourselves. Obviously, you would say that the Greens would want to keep the 4 seats that they've got at the moment. They wouldn't risk stepping down in those. But for the rest, there's 600 of them out there, and at the last election, the Green Party had a candidate in every seat, practically every seat, for the first time in history. So in order not to split the vote, because they're going to have a lot of common ground in the manifestos, I believe, it remains to be seen in exactly which areas they might be different. Unfortunately, we don't know what the situation in Gaza, for example, is going to be like in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Hopefully it will be a free and fully recognised state, no longer under illegal occupation, currently being, rebuilt. Let's hope. But that is so fundamental. That is so fundamental to success. Now you have a party that doesn't have any seats. Well, it does have seats, technically. At least 2 of them. That is Zara Sultana and Jeremy Corbyn, respectively. But they have 1 million people now signed up on yourparty.uk. That has got to have some weight to it. All right. Do you want to go over some more Polanski stuff, or should we move on? Let me know in the chat, because I do have a clip from his Channel 4 interview that came out earlier today as well. I'll give you a moment to decide. Just let me know how you're feeling in the chat. I need to have some more tea. Goodness. Sorry if I was getting a little dry-throated there. If I sounded a little hoarse. Or pony, if you prefer. I need to update the chat as well. Let's give that a little refresh. Sorry if it was lagging behind. I guess we'll move on. So, well, it's kind of onto the same topic as what Polanski was on about there. This apparent immigration issue, which we don't have. We have a far-right rhetoric issue. We have a crappy media issue. And now because of the mainstream media, who keep pandering to Farage. And now obviously Starmer and Cooper trying to out-flagshag the Reform Party. It inevitably leads to things like what we're seeing outside the Bell Hotel, the roundabouts, zebra crossings, the flags and all the rest of it. And people like this silly fucking prick in Leicester who verbally abused two ladies as they were walking by with racial abuse. But it's just so disgusting, as well as embarrassing to see people know this is an old fella you're going to see in the clip. But the fact that you share a nationality with somebody like this, and I mentioned on social media that recently that people like this just sit at home all day soaking up the Daily Mail or the Tory Graph, whatever it is, GBBs, which makes them completely detached from reality. So, yeah. Check this twat out.
Yeah, should have been shot.
Oh, is this a racism thing?
Should. Bloody Asian.
Oh, bloody Asian. Right,
Yeah,
okay.
why are people not committing crimes? There's more Asians who commit crimes than white people. White people have got a lot more sense than you people.
Oh, do they?
Hold on. Why? Because a lot of you...
White people have got a lot more sense than you people. Where do you want to begin? Where do you begin with something like that? What does he mean by you people? By you people? These are British citizens who he's talking to, by the way. As you can see in the caption at the bottom. Both born in the UK.
You're stupid. What? How? Why?
So, dude, when mathematicians are doing this magic stuff with these formulas and these special symbols, there's a sequence of them, and you can use them to count things. For example, let's call them numbers. Let's call them numbers. Who do you think invented those? Who do you think developed those? Oh, it happened in the Middle East, did it? Oh, all right, yeah. A litany of other things as well. Where do they get this crap from? Where do they get this absolute horseshit from? And one thing that always gets me, one thing that always fucking gets me, is they think they're so believable. They think that we're convinced. And the main reason for that is generally down to a combination of their stance, their accents, and how confidently they say the thing. Like they utterly, 100% believe it. And when he says crap like this, let's just go back.
White people have got a lot more sense than you people.
Oh, did they?
Hold on. Why?
As if people are just going to be immediately convinced, you know, or when it's with the upper middle classes, or let's pick one of the best examples, Jacob Rees-Mogg, who obviously thinks and has, unfortunately, gotten away with so much based on his old Etonian bullshit accent. Yeah. Ludicrous.
Of course, a lot of you are stupid.
What? How? Why?
Wow.
Why are white people better? Why is that?
White people are better than you.
Why?
Because they're more intelligent.
Oh,
On
wow.
what basis?
You stupid idiot. Ain't you?
I might be stupid. It's relative, right? But if you can explain to me why white people are more intelligent.
Well, this is it. They expect you to ignore facts and ignore reality based on how popular you are with them as a person. It's like with the laughter emoji thing, you know, it's so common in trolling. You make a perfectly reasonable point, and that's all that they've got in the locker. You know, 3 laughter emojis. They might upgrade to 4 or 5 if you end up with a little bit of back and forth or whatever. And they think that they can insult the way towards you either respecting them or them being correct. And here it is in human troll form with this twat from Leicester, which is in the East Midlands of the UK.
That would be helpful. So I can better understand.
You shouldn't be in this country.
All right.
You should
They were born here. Excuse me. God. Oh. Can we not just hit... Right, here's one. Polanski and Corbyn can go along with this. Absolute banger. Right here. Let's deport all of these twats to the fucking Isle of Man or something like that. Oh, because they're, you know, they love a bit of xenophobia on the Isle of Man here in the UK. For anyone who's not familiar, that's a small island between Britain and the island of Ireland. The Isle of Man with 2 N's, and especially in a place called Manx, which is on the Isle of Man. They're very, very xenophobic. They hate the English, the Welsh, the Scottish, everybody. They do have Merseyside accents there because of its proximity to Merseyside, of course. That's understandable. But they also hate Liverpool and Liverpudlians. Essentially just anyone who isn't from this small... It's quite rife. I'm not saying that everybody who's from the Isle of Man is. Obviously not. As a matter of fact, I've actually been on JSO actions with someone from the Isle of Man, come to think of it. And I know a few other people who are alright, but there's a hot policy for you if they like xenophobia so much. Or just put them in a notoriously xenophobic place.
You should have stopped where you were born.
Guys, he's talking to absolute strangers, and because they're not white, whatever, I'm not sure of his class background, that doesn't come into it. It's the racist bullshit that's the main point. But he just assumes that they weren't born in the UK.
So I was born here.
No, you wasn't.
I was born literally in Slough.
No.
Berkshire.
He's born in Slough. He's born in Slough.
I was born in Berkshire.
No.
Yes.
I was literally born in Berkshire.
You should go back to India, where you come from.
Oh,
Not
we're
from India.
Should.
You're so ignorant.
You shouldn't be allowed.
Can we not entertain it?
Sorry, are you talking about the same country that we held to the barrel of a gun for hundreds of years, and now that they've gained their independence from our empire, they've seceded us in terms of GDP. The old jewel in the crown of the British Empire, was it? The jewel of the empire. Is that the country that he's referring to. I'm ashamed to say that, you know, apart from age and obviously how we look and whatnot, and if you'd looked at both of our passports just to see the same nationality on there, really does. These people are a disgrace to their country. One of the only things to be proud of about this country at the moment is our diversity. And even only from an economical standpoint within the capitalist model, migration's absolutely essential for this country. But that's all beside the point where this clip's concerned, because these people are British nationals, British citizens. Get to fuck, pal.
Because this is nonsense. I don't want to see your face. I don't want to speak to you ever again. And to be honest, I'm going to report you for racism. I'm going to report you for racism.
Good.
Yeah, I will. I will send this to the police and I will report you for racism. Absolutely. But I won't be disgustingly racist.
So would you
Yeah.
say you are a racist man?
Yes.
I don't know if he has mobility issues, but I did notice a bit of a wobble there. Or bring his level of sobriety, or lack of, into question, perhaps. That would be no excuse. Perhaps it's a mobility issue. Maybe he's pissed. Don't know. That's pissed as in the English sense, meaning drunk. British sense, I should say.
And is that against all brown people or just specific religion?
No, not religion.
Or just anybody that's not white?
Yes.
So Muslim, Sikh,
Wow.
Hindu, anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't like you.
You don't like brown people in general?
Why should anybody like you? You hardly, you know, check out Mr. Charming here. He says he doesn't like you, and you obviously respect his opinion so much because he's so, you know, charming. But I'll tell you what, dude, whatever the requirements are to be in the grumpy racist twat club, not fucking interested, to be honest. You know, what is the appeal of this guy that okay, they're at the check-in desk at the airport, or no, they arrive in another country, let's say, and they say, why are you here? And not, you know, business or pleasure and all that shite. And they say, well, you know, we just happened to be walking around Leicester minding our own business. I was born in Slough, by the way, and we came across this completely detached from reality old racist who told us he didn't like us, and that we immediately went home and packed our bags, and now here we are. Is that the world that he thinks we live in? He can't come up with any reasonable argument, so the only thing that he can fall back on, metaphorically, is figuratively, I should say. The only thing he can fall back on is to expect that he's so popular that you'll just do what he says. God, it addles my brain. It really does addle my brain. People like this. He's not alone. You find, I've not listened to any of them live for a while. I come across clips and stuff, but you know, the talking shows, your LBCs. And now sometimes you do get hosts who challenge them pretty well, I've got to be fair. But majority of the time, you know, they come out with all this nonsense. And they can never back it up. So it's just, I just don't like you. I just, you know, the word just, they think is so powerful and magical. It just is. This just isn't. You'll find a lot of that within trolling and all that shit online. Just is, isn't it?
Because we have no sense, right?
Doesn't matter.
No, but you said that we have no sense.
I
That's the
don't
reason.
like brown people.
Yeah, because we have no sense. Is that right?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, so just brown people, just no reason. Because I'm suggesting, I'm saying to you that you just said that we don't have sense, that's the basis on which you don't like us.
Where your parents were born, or your grandparents were born.
What if they were racist and they come up to you and they were born in the same country as you, they just don't like white people? What would you say to them? What would you say? What would you try and say back? Oh, don't give me any, this is my country, don't give me that bullshit. We're born here. What we know so far from the oldest samples that we have is the chances are that the first settlers in Britain were black. Don't give me any of that Anglo-Saxon crap either, I've been over that before. It's not fucking 1065. What about, you know, where's Leicester? Oh, it's in, where would it be now, I guess, either Wessex or Mercia. Fucking hell. Does he want to go that far back?
You should live there.
Right. Okay.
Why don't you go back to fucking France where you came from, you Norman fuck? Go on. Why don't you go back to Brittany or Normandy? Go on. On your way.
Why?
Because we don't want you over here.
Who's we?
White people.
Is that all of the white people?
A lot.
I represent... This man on your screen apparently represents all of whiteism. The king of whiteism speaketh.
To the white people.
How many? Percentage basis?
Millions.
Right. So
Millions.
Leicester being like having such a substantial minority community, I guarantee.
Okay. You say the word Leicester, drums up certain images. You think of famous people from Leicester. Obviously, one of those is going to be Gary Lineker, now former presenter of BBC's Match of the Day after being forced out, and has been outspoken about the genocide in Gaza. He is very arguably Leicester's most famous celebrity, perhaps outside of the very crisps which he endorses. Other crisps are available. Didn't say the name either. But if he were there, I think he'd give this guy a right what for.
Probably won't have the same worldview as you do. So on that basis, your argument.
We should go. We could clear 100 million of you out of the country.
There's so... How many? How many? Sorry, I didn't notice that. I only watched this clip once before. I uploaded it. How many? How many people are there in the country? That is... What does he describe them as? Indians? But they're not from India.
He won't have the same worldview as you do. So on that basis, your argument.
We should go. We could clear 100 million of you out of the country altogether.
100 million? There's only nearly 70 million in the whole bastard United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, you stupid fuck. Jeez. 100 million? 100 million? Where do you think you are? Fucking Russia? 100 million? There's 100 million? What? What?
What?
What?
Okay.
What?
What? You gotta be f***ing kidding.
Okay, then how many non-brown and black people from India who aren't from India are there in the country? How many good old... And they'll use the word pure, won't they? Pure, whatever the fuck that means. I can't make my mind up. I might be an Anglo-Saxon. I might be a Norman. I might be a bit of this. But we definitely just sprouted out of the ground on this island that we live on, of all the fucking places. 100 million. Dunning-Kruger, yeah. But I don't. It's not quite the same level as, you know, your Jordan Petersons or whatever. But he thinks he's right, and I'm almost certain he made that number up on the spot. 100 million. That's a third of the population of the United States of America, all of North America. Which is divided into 50 states, and he thinks that our country, which is the size of an average to small state of the United States, can house and harbour not just 100 million people, but a section of society which are referred to as minorities number 100 million. So, well, by actual demographics, that would make them roughly 900 million to a billion in total. Oh, there's just a bit more.
What would you do with them? Send us out? Would you send us out? Where would you send us? Because we don't have visas or passports to go back to.
Yeah, we're
these
British,
countries
mate.
you're talking about. We're British, English. I'm English. I don't have a passport for India or Pakistan or Sweden or where.
Yeah, he thinks you'd show up at a brown country and they go, "Oh yeah, you're brown, come in." In you go. Yeah, second door on the right. Help sell to a house and a car, by the way. I know you don't have a social security number, but hey, well, that's the way it works here too, because we live in this guy's head. Oh.
Wherever.
Sorry, what was his closing remark?
Send us out? Would you send us out? Where would you send?
Oh, that's what I was going to say. This, yeah, another thing I'm sick of is the get rid of politics. You need to, you know, when you talk about getting, and usually, unfortunately, referring to a section of society, demographic of society, they can't tell you how it's done apart from the psychos and the nutters. Shout out to 5 Pillars as well, by the way, I should have said for that clip. But do you mean, are you talking about euthanize it? What are you talking about? You mean like phasing out such and such a thing? Or just get rid of, But then where immigration's concerned, it's like, well, they should just tell them to go, blah, 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 blah. Because, of course, they wouldn't mind being told that they've got to leave the very country that they were fucking born in. They see that as fair game. What a time to be alive. Right, I'm gonna super hyper get through the next 2 or 3 stories. Just some very quick mentions. Like this, do you remember, of course, yeah, the grown-ups are in charge now. They've hit the economy button, so on and so forth. Everything's all go because they got rid of, you know, the student politics and all of whatnot. And they've been in charge for 14 months and, oh, look at this. Borrowing costs have hit a 27-year high, which is going to add to pressure on Rachel Reeves, of course. back in the 2010s you could effectively borrow for free, but we passed. We passed on that, yeah. And well, this is all about the bond markets, basically, the value of bonds, and how much it costs countries to pay back large sums that they borrow. Because that's how it's done on that scale. It's all about the bonds. So it jumped to 5.72%, which makes it more expensive for the government to borrow money, as I said. On the currency markets, the pound also fell more than 1% against the dollar on Tuesday. 1%. 1%. You get it? Because that's like a cent. See what the BBC did there? Excellent punnery. Or maybe not. Well, it's all difficult choices. That's basically all it's going to be. This is going to be more austerity now. And, oh, just what you're going to hear in the interviews. You know, just blaming it on this. Yada yada, inheritance. But that's what happens when you put somebody who was a call centre manager in charge of the Treasury. Not a very good idea. Very quick skim through that one. As there will be this one as well, just note. Kim Jong-un has arrived in Beijing. Rarely leaves the country, of course. They're going to go to a military parade. Putin, of course, considers this guy an ally as well. One thing I have to be absolutely 100% clear on, people, whether it's China you're referring to, or North Korea, or Russia, none of those three countries are what could even reasonably be described as communist if you actually know the descriptions of the area of the political spectrum. Absolutely not. 100% clear on that, no. Authoritarian is the word you're looking for where North Korea is concerned. And it's going to be the biggest ever military parade, apparently tomorrow. To celebrate the formal surrender of the Japanese at the end of World War II, of course. China wanting to dig their elbow in where that's concerned. Yeah, and he's got this train, hasn't he? Doesn't fly. He says he doesn't like flying. Whatever reason that might be. He's probably also, obviously, a bit worried security-wise as well. So he has this, like, armoured train. There it is. Hey, we're here. Right. So it's got a restaurant which serves fine French wines and dishes like fresh lobster. This is as, obviously, the people of his country die in the fields of which they toil, so that he can siphon this luxury. He left Pyongyang on Monday, but the train's heavy protection means it travels slowly. That could just be down to the sheer weight of it. It's obviously not a great strategy. Yeah, it goes at 5 miles an hour. And his daughter's with him, who has been seen quite frequently with him. Yeah, perhaps a show of strength over the tariffs, who knows, but we'll see if Trump has anything to say about this, if he reappears. Has there been any sign of him, people, that you've noticed? Rumours that he could be seriously unwell. He's like BA from the A-Team. It's Mr. T. But he will get on a helicopter. I don't know if you've ever seen. Was it the 70s series, 80s series? Bad attitude, maybe they have something else in common. Good point there. Yeah, JK. I see what you did there. Very good. Alwyn, good point there as well. It's like, well, we're reporting on the royal family here is concerned. They're obviously, they obsess over that. If one of them, you know, sprouts another millionaire, they're all over it, aren't they? Seen in public for the first time. It's kind of the same with this, but yeah, it's really creepy and weird, I guess. But yeah, we could see the baby now, or we could see his daughter now. Is he married? I don't. Well, I'm not going back into that story. Doesn't matter. Oh, I think he is. I recall at one point. Or do I? Perhaps seeing some. You see. Every time you see Kim Jong-un in a picture, he looks exactly the fucking same. Expressionless face, bordering on, I don't know, looking mildly depressed, while he just has his arms hanging to his side, and so on and so forth. However, I think I can vaguely recall seeing pictures of him in that stance at a ceremony, and maybe he smiled. Maybe he smiled in one of them. At the wedding. His wedding. I might be getting that mixed up. But I'm getting on to a different topic in a sec. Yeah, on to the defend our juries thing, as well as the latest on Gaza. After one more story that came out today, about Father Ted co-writer and transphobe Graham Lynham. He's been arrested at the airport over his post on Twitter, always Twitter, never X. Let's see what's happening. Five officers arrested him. They're apparently armed as well after arriving on a flight from the United States, and he said in an online Substack article that officials then became concerned for his health after taking his blood pressure and took him to hospital. It's pending further investigation. So it's all about him being under bail conditions, saying that he's not to go on Twitter as well. That's since his arrest. That's not why he was arrested. Which was for 3 posts, which started in April on his views about challenging a trans-identified male in a female-only space. Well, he went there, did he? Anyone who's not familiar with this guy, I think he's already had a divorce over this. He just won't back down or let it go. It seems he has an unshakable opinion, but his tenacity in how he's trolled the trans community is quite something. So yeah, his wife divorced him. I think quite a lot of his family have more or less disowned him as well. Not sure if he speaks to his kids or whatever, but he just won't stop. Apparently he suggested on Twitter that if you see a trans male in a female-only space, he suggested make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the balls. End quote. Oh dear. He then wrote on Substack that during his interview following the arrest, he explained it was a serious point made with a joke, and that it was about the height difference between men and women, and certainly not a call to violence. No, I don't think it was heightism. It was transphobia. Let's be perfectly honest. Not sure about Graham, but I don't really particularly care about the activities of the other users of such public spaces when I'm in there myself. Whatever genitalia they may or may not have. What do you want to do, like follow them into the stalls and point and shout, look at that, it's a disgrace? I'm like, fuck off. What the fuck? I don't think it's any more of his business or anyone else's than, you know, someone taking a dump, to be perfectly honest. This guy's a joke. It's a shame as well, because Father Ted is a really good comedy series. It's a legendary comedy series. They've asked Cooper and Starmer about it, but they've tried to brush it off. Basically. So there he is, doesn't he look happy?
You dirty fecker.
Moving on. Yeah, on to defend our juries now. Just make sure you hit thumbs up on the stream, please, people. Give us a share around your social media as well, and give us a follow at MyLeftIUK. What do I have? What do I have? So as I said, 5 people were arrested this month. Well, their houses were raided. I'm at liberty to name one of them because it's been on DOJ's social media. I do, however, actually personally know the others who I shan't name because I'm not sure if they'd be cool with that. So let's see what's happening. This is crap. This is like, I don't mean as far as law enforcement's concerned, shall we say. So Tim Crossland is one of the 5 who has been named, and he was just about to perform a press conference actually about the upcoming Defend Our Juries protest, which is going to be in Parliament Square at 1 PM on Saturday, just the same as it was the last time around basically, although it's believed that there are going to be even more people showing up than last time. Should also stress, this is me just pointing this out from a journalistic media point of view. I am not encouraging or endorsing participation in the protest. This channel is going to be there getting footage of the event and interviewing some of the participants, some of the sitters as well. We might bump into a few other old friends as well while we're down there, like I said. And this is an attempt to hinder that. However, as I said earlier, it is going to be going ahead despite the 5 raids this morning. So let's see what's happening. Got this article first, I think. Tweet, I should say, from Defend Our Juries page. Another plug as well for those 3 interviews that we did. Moshi in the chat there is one of the interviewees, as well as my friends Alex and Pete. Do check them out. It's gotten quiet, hasn't it? Where's the funk? Oh, and I can also name Paddy Friend, who was due to speak as well. But the 3 others, I do know the names, but I shan't mention them. So there you have it. They're also simultaneous demonstrations taking place in Edinburgh and Derry, but this channel can only be in one place at a time at the moment with current production values. So we'll be down in the London one, but if you're going to be going, and maybe not as a sitter, but perhaps checking out any of the other protests there in Scotland and Northern Ireland, let us know. Well, what do you think about the raid? So essentially this is for holding open Zoom calls, and there have been a few of them, I believe, since the last protest and in the run-up to this upcoming protest. And essentially the people who were the speakers on these Zoom calls are the ones who have been raided. That is not any of the audience, any of the people who were watching. These were, again, I should point out, open Zoom calls in which they did encourage people to participate in the protest, which again is technically illegal. That is supporting a prescribed group with the placards, which is going to be happening again, of course. Like I said, more or less exactly the same as last time, but with larger numbers. So what do you think about that? They are the first people to have ever been convicted, were protests concerned, having Zoom calls. Of course, Roger Hallam, famously just released last week, was convicted for such an offence. Also Louise, another friend of mine, again for hosting Zoom talks with JSO. And I've actually been a guest speaker on some of those Zooms, talking about climate science and social science. So it's awful to see this happening to people who you know personally. It really is. However, I think the scale of this that's coming up on Saturday will speak volumes to Yvette Cooper and Keir Starmer. They have to realise that it's completely, well, we're awaiting rulings obviously, but could be illegal, could be unlawful, but it's also unmanageable, unpoliceable. A lot of people on the whole, including both from within and from without the Metropolitan Police Force itself, that it's a complete and utter waste of their bastard time. So that's the tweet. Always Twitter, never X. Once again, I'm simply pointing this out for journalistic reasons to do with the story about the raid, which has been announced on Twitter by Defend Our Juries and their official Twitter page. This is not an active encouragement for people to go and participate in sitting and holding the placard. Can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
So it's the tether of protest where this is concerned is, of course, Defend Our Juries protests concern supporting another protest group that has been prescribed, Pal Action, of course. And they're protesting about the ongoing occupation of Gaza and the war crimes that are happening every day. And it's onto that matter that we now go, because they're not the only organisation, well, former organisation, now disbanded after being temporarily renamed as Yvette Cooper as well, by the way. Remember that with Pal Action. But the Sumud Flotilla, of course, set sail 2 days ago on Sunday from Spain, from Barcelona in Spain. Barcelona in Spain. I don't know what the fuck that was. What the fuck was that, Phil? Why is that in the script? No, I'm only joking. And here's an update. You saw at the top of the... That was a good clip from Ty. He's just joking, of course. He's not actually quit the flotilla, because the boat that he's found himself on has the Union Jack on the back of all, and he's got the island top on as well. Was it the football top or the rugby top? One of the retro ones. Couldn't quite make it out, but yeah. Not sure there'd be many, if any, people from Ireland who'd be too up for that. But he was joking, of course. He's carrying on with the voyage. So that's what I'm going to play next. He put out an update on his Twitter about... Well, that's where I found it, but just a couple of hours ago. So this is a fairly fresh update from the flotilla. Let's see what's happening.
Guys, thought I'd give you a little update on the first couple of days on the boat. One of my first observations, I suppose, is that everyone on my boat is really lovely. We're all on top of each other. It's difficult to sleep. A lot of snoring going on.
I was only getting the audio there, and I'm pretty sure that you were as well. Just check YouTube Studio.
Hi guys, thought I'd give you a little update.
Okay, 1 second. Just give me a few seconds here, people. Be right back.
As you can see, we're experiencing a minor technical difficulty here on my left eye. Our team of expertly trained technicians are working busily to restore the stream. In the meantime, please make sure that you've hit the thumbs up button harder than you'd like to hit Keir Starmer in the Ghoulies, and left a comment down below. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience on that, Matt's people. Flo, how you doing? He's got a 4-minute upload on YouTube. That's how I read it in that voice. YouTube. Which I think is the same, if that helps. What can I do? You mean this one?
Hi guys, thought I'd give you a little update on the first couple of days on the boat. One of my first observations, I suppose, is that everyone on my boat is really lovely. We're all on top of each other. It's difficult to sleep. A lot of snoring going on. It was a storm last night, so things are kind of thrashing about. But getting on really great with everyone. It's kind of like Celebrity Big Brother, except everyone's an anti-imperialist and is really, really nice, and you don't end up being killed by the Nazis of the 21st century at the end. Only joking, that's not going to happen. Everyone's going to come home safe and sound, because why wouldn't they? We're not doing anything illegal. We're going to be in international waters. Now, the other thing I'd like to say is, talking to some of the beautiful, brilliant people on my boat, many of them are of colour, and they have been describing the subtle and the more overt types of racism that they deal with every day. And I'd like to think of myself as an anti-racist, but because I suppose I've never experienced any of that stuff, I don't naturally think about it. I don't think about what other people are going through, and I don't think about people of colour's perspective on Palestine being quite different to mine. It's much more personal for them. So, whilst for me it might have been something that would have been born out of interest in geopolitics and solidarity, for perhaps, you know, the resistance movements of Ireland and the resistance movements of Palestine. For them, it's probably all that and so much more, because they truly identify with that kind of racial bias that underpins all toxic ideologies like Zionism. My second observation, which I suppose is more of a validation of what I would have already thought in many ways, is that when you spend time on one of these boats with the people, more importantly, that you're sharing the experience with, you see just how unbelievably cynical and way off the mark the kind of propaganda that you hear against people who do these types of missions.
Yeah, just want to cut in there. Good point, Graham. I've thought about that myself, about the lack of a naval escort, with there being, it's 50 vessels, isn't it, from 44 of 40 at least different countries. And the sheer scale of it, perhaps there could be some sort of incident, but who knows. I also would not rule out, perhaps, as I said before, Yemen getting involved in this somehow. That is, this particular flotilla. Okay, let's be clear. You know, normally when one country's prime minister has another country's prime minister killed, that's a pretty big thing. But the way it's just been brushed over is unbelievable. Oh yeah, and by the way, the prime minister of Yemen was assassinated by Israel, but something October 7th, and now here's the weather. You know, that's the way it's gone down.
So the first one we hear is that we're Hamas and we're coming with guns. Now, I've personally never held a gun in my life, like, do you know what I mean? And I think I could say the people on this boat, to a man and to a woman, are dedicated anti-war. They're actually the opposite of kind of gun-loving folk. They're all anti-war, human rights activists going back years. And this connects to the second bit of slander you hear about people on this boat, and boats like it, is that we're just in it for the clicks. Now, I'm the only one on my phone, really. Most of the other people are not really particularly interested in social media at all. I mean, I'm not that interested in it. I just kind of use it as a tool. But like, it's very hard to get your head around somebody with maybe 500 or 600 followers on Instagram, someone who uses it once in the blue moon, going on a trip into one of the most dangerous places on earth to get more likes on Instagram. It just doesn't check out, I suppose, when you've met the kind of dedicated human rights activists that I have met over the last few days. So if we're not gun running and we're not doing it for clickety-clicks, why are we doing it then? Are we just insane? I think in a way we are. I think collectively activists are insane, with grief, with disbelief at the state of the world that we are at, a moment in our history as a species that a bunch of civilians have to give up weeks of their life to hit the seas and try to get to Gaza.
And that's the thing, it's down to ordinary people at the end of the day. Someone in the chat just mentioned the possibility of the United States escorting them. I don't think that's particularly likely. I'd like to see the Royal Navy escorting them. That would be the honourable thing to do in this situation, but again, they're not involved, and that's tragic. It really is, and it shames us all. Not only that, but the complicity of the UK in this as well, really shameful.
Because the Western governments won't do the bare minimum of just simply sanctioning a rogue state and saying, this is a man-made famine, open the borders, let the aid in. Do you know, like, we're not transporting guns, we're transporting baby formula. Try and get baby formula in to Gaza, because the doctors, Western doctors particularly, are not able to smuggle in baby formula. Have you ever encountered anything more despicable than that? So, you know, when people say, like, well, why are they doing it? It's all ego, it's all clickety-click, it's all, they're just lunatics. You know, actually we're just ordinary people sick to death of the Israeli bullshit and just so heartbroken and deeply, deeply angry at our own government's inability to take any meaningful action. And so we take the action ourselves, and it's beautiful. The sight of this movement growing is something to behold, and it's never too late to become part of it. So keep an eye on our mission. Chucky ar lá agus Saoirse na Palestine.
Ty Hickey there. He's now going under the username Taran Ty, that's T-A-D-H-G. By the way, he's changed his handle. Really good testimony there. Hopefully he's going to keep us updated, and My Left Eye will be looking out for other people uploading their stories as well, so we'll wish them well. They're a good few days or so away at least from getting close to the coast. Quite an abrupt restart of the music. I just have this as well. Someone shared this with me. One of my friends shared this with me earlier, so I thought I'd share it with you here. And it appears to be just a normal Vox Pops situation. But the guy who happens to be stopped really does know his shit about the current situation in Gaza, as well as UK complicity. So check this out. It makes some really good points, which I'm sure you'll all agree with. But you don't normally get such a response in Vox Pops that's so granular as this one. It is really good. Check it out.
What's your thoughts about what's going on over in Palestine right now?
My thoughts about what's going on over in Palestine? Minimal, because what's going on over there is absolutely horrific. I don't know where to begin with it. I mean, what people allow is what will continue, and that's been evidenced in this country for a long time now.
Do you think there's anything we can do as people to bring it to a stop, or...?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first thing is that if you're an apologist for genocide, then you're compliant towards it. I remember when I was a little boy hearing about horrors of Nazi Germany and the things that they were doing to people. And the one thing that struck me as a child was, how could people comply with that? In the past week, starving, malnourished, critically ill children are being denied visas to be taken to the United States of America for medical treatment, despite the fact that most of the munitions and weapons that have been used against Palestinians are actually American in origin. But if people can turn a blind eye to the children that are starving to death, being blown up in hospitals, to the doctors and the journalists that are being executed, to the homes in residential areas that are being targeted airstrikes, like the woman who was a nurse in one of these hospitals.
I mean, when you just stop this guy going through a precinct or something, this guy's fucking absolutely on fire, 100% nailing it right here. This is brilliant. This brother is absolutely preaching the whole truth here. It's really good to see. And he's just on his way through his local shopping precinct or something.
And she had her 7 children and her husband in their home in a residential area bombed, because this is how much they want to stop anyone, any of you, anybody from standing up and speaking the truth, because the truth is the only thing that can set people free. And what you all need to realise, this isn't something that happens to them and doesn't affect us. This is something that happens to them because they're relying on us doing nothing about it, and then by the time that it starts affecting us, it'll be too late, because they'll already know how to carry out a programme successfully. And there's no lack of coincidence.
Yeah, great stuff. I don't think no, he's not Italian, Graham. I think he's just speaking particularly quickly. He says like he's from London. Are you referring to the guy in the video? I don't know. L'uomo è non italiano, penso. This is great. I'm just going to scan it back a few seconds there. But now he's looking directly into the camera and calling for revolution. You don't get Vox Pops like this on mainstream platforms, do you? Like, really not. And just brilliant.
thing that can set people free. And what you all need to realise, this isn't something that happens to them and doesn't affect us. This is something that happens to them because they're relying on us doing nothing about it, and then by the time that it starts affecting us, it'll be too late because they'll already know how to carry out a programme successfully. And there's no lack of coincidence that a lot of the stratagems that have been used in Gaza over the last several decades...
Right, I'm going to open a book on this one. I'm going to lay out 2 to 1. He pulls out some fucking charts and shit from his coat pockets there, and a little and a stand, and it goes into a full TED talk. When you look at the statistics from the 1970s through to today, and then just a chart with the line going up. This is really good, and really they just stopped a guy on the street, and we're getting this. This is the. If I was doing Vox Pops, which this channel hasn't, I don't know whether to say ventured into or resorted to yet. If I got Vox Pops like this, that'd be an awesome day's work as far as I'm concerned.
Thing that can set people free. And what you all need to realise, this isn't something that happens to them and doesn't affect us. This is something that happens to them because they're relying on us doing nothing about it, and then by the time that it starts affecting us, it'll be too late because they'll already know how to carry out a programme successfully. And there's no lack of coincidence that a lot of the stratagems that have been used in Gaza over the last several decades are actually taken directly from the illegal occupation of Ulster and Northern Ireland. And this is why Britain used to be world leaders in military intelligence and close security, but if you actually look at the companies and who owns them, you'll find that in a...
I was, want to interject quickly, I was joking about opening a book. This is not a it's not a legitimate thing, by the way, just to be very clear. You know, TOS and all that sort of business, this isn't fucking Mr. Beast.
Last decade or so, Israel happens to have some of the most successful private security and private military companies because they're the ones, like Britain had for many decades now, they've had for many decades, a targeted, controlled populace that they can work their tactics out on. If you allow something like that to persist and you silently turn a blind eye, don't think that you're any better than the Germans, you're worse. And if you are a child of Jah, Buddha, Allah, Krishna, whatever you want to call the Almighty, and you actually care about where your soul progresses from this incarnation, I suggest you stop turning a blind eye and realise that you are part of the problem or you're part of the solution.
Fan-fucking-tastic that was. What do you say, Death?
Damn right!
Brilliant. Just going to give credit to this uploader.
Blind eye and realise that you are part of the problem or you're part of the solution.
That's S2F Uncensored. If you want to check out more of those stuff. That's the first time I've come across a clip by them. Shout out to my friend for sharing that one with me again. So, brilliant, brilliant. You could be out there all day and not get a quality response like that if you're a Vox Pops correspondent or whatever. I thought at one point he was going to grab the microphone off the guy and, you know, write down the lens. Revolt, unite and revolt, brothers and sisters, and they, thems and comrades alike, together we stand against the bourgeois. Against the bourgeois bastards. He sat on top of a car with a red flag. Today is the day when we... Epilogue speech. Epic speech, I should say. But not a single damn word of that you can argue with, people. One thing you can argue with, though, is moving swiftly on to another subject. In a really smooth segue. Just came across this video of Stephen Morgan, Minister Stephen Morgan, in an interview. And we talk a lot about the boardroom talk that Labour use when they're in media appearances. The same old phrases. Well, you know the stuff, it's returning tomorrow on Keith's catchphrases. At PMQs, of course, that sort of thing. And now, when you watch this clip, just essentially listen closely to the question that's being asked to him as he nods along and waits to give a response. Well, I guess I'll interject as this brief clip goes along. But this is Stephen Morgan. Just wanted to share this quick observation with you, because this says it all. How they deal with the media and how stupid that they think that the public is concerned. Jesus.
On social media the other day...
it's going back to the flags and all this business, by the way.
A takeaway that's completely covered with graffiti and telling people to go home, and, you know, people who are shouting at each other in the streets. This is Britain in 2025, For years, governments have talked about the strength of multiculturalism, but now that is under threat. You know, people want to see real action now, not only to deal with migration, but also to deal with the psyche of the nation in parts. You know, what can you say you will do today, tomorrow, and next week that will deliver concrete change? Well,
before he gives his response, the question was very clear. It was about a specific example, this other horrific incident that we heard about the other day, a Chinese takeaway being scrawled in racist graffiti and very poorly painted England flags as well. So he needs to address that specific example as well as what's happening with the right wing at the moment on a whole. Very, very simple to address those two matters. Now, what follows is, even by Labour's standards, absolutely appalling. You're going to see Morgan here just completely failed to address the question that was put to him whatsoever. And he goes straight into... He knew what he was going to say, even before he knew what the question was about. You saw him nodding. You saw him, because he's trained to nod and act like he's listening and concerned. He knows exactly what he's going to say, because he's probably just spent the last hour and a half reading it over and over and over to himself, or saying it back to himself in front of a fucking mirror or a coach or whatever. That is a train. Someone who trains him, not the vehicle. and this is what comes out. This is what comes out, and we've heard it all before. So what about these Chinese takeaways and what the right wing are doing to roundabouts and zebra crossings? Stephen Morgan.
Well, I'm proud to be part of a government that is a mission-driven government.
And by the way, every time you say fucking deliver, I'm going to get increasingly pissed off, because, well, we've got PMQs coming up tomorrow. I'm going to have to be psychologically prepared for that one. It's becoming increasingly my least favourite word that they use, but just so you know, it's a bit of a trigger.
Government that wants to bring about change in our country. On my brief, I've set out some of the things that we're doing to ease the pressures on parents and deliver meaningful change for children and young people across our country. The Prime Minister wants us to go further and faster. That's what we're delivering to make sure we fix the foundations of our economy and restore public services and drive growth in our country. And that's what we're going to be doing as Parliament returns today.
On social media...
What was that? What was that? It's... See, this is the thing. They've done this reshuffle, which is like, you know, the umpteenth relaunch or whatever you want to call it in a row. Now missions and pledges and all that business all over again. It's doing it again, and every single time it's like, this is where the good things will start to happen. This is where the good stuff starts to happen. Definitely now, definitely this time. And even just in the last 14 months, we've seen God knows how many incarnations of it, as well as when he was leader of the opposition, this latest one. And they've put fucking Stephen Morgan up here now to tell us yet again that this is definitely, 100% definitely the time when the good things start to happen. Just ignore the fact that borrowing's at its highest rate in 27 years. And unfortunately, you're going to hear phrases like tough choices being thrown around the place a lot.
Also, to deal with the psyche parts, you know, what can you say you will do today, tomorrow, and next week that will deliver concrete change?
Well, I'm proud to be part of a government that is a mission-driven government that wants to bring about...
Mission-driven. It's he thinks he's in an interview for some promotion to upper management from middle management, or you know, something along those lines. Mission driven. Look, fella, this isn't how people on the street talk, and you can go to wherever the fuck it is where people gather, whether it be a library or a pub, or it might be a cafe, whatever it is, community centre. They, whatever it is and whatever they're doing, they don't talk like that. People in the real world talk like that.
Change in our country. On my brief, I've set out some of the things that we
just keep saying deliver and change. And it bores into your head past a certain point, doesn't it?
To ease the pressures on parents and deliver meaningful change for children and young people.
You just said that. To deliver the change and deliver meaningful change that delivers a change. How many permutations of those two words are you going to try and put into one sentence whilst literally saying nothing? He thinks he's saying something, but he's saying nothing. If you were one of the residents in that area where the Chinese takeaway had graffiti put on about it, this wouldn't be anything close to a satisfactory answer about what Labour are going to do about it. Fortunately, I've heard that since it happened, a guy who runs one of those jet washing companies, mobile jet washing companies, immediately went down there and cleaned the place up, absolutely free of charge. He probably got a bag of prawn crackers out of it, I don't know, maybe. But no, really good show of local community there, and to show what local residents do actually feel. So if I was the family of the takeaway, or the guy with the jet washer, or any other local resident, and I saw Stephen Morgan here putting this out, I'd be ashamed. It's just, do we really have another 4 more years of this? And how many reiterations and missions, pledges? How many steps was it as well? Was it 5 steps? The 6 steps to whatever it was? I put a post on social media recently, directly to Keir Starmer, I believe, as it happens. And he's described what's going to happen as phase 2. Apparently, I wasn't even aware that we were in phase 1, so wanted to know, is phase 2 the second step of however many steps towards the thing it was, or have all of those steps been completed and within phase 1, which apparently is just finished? And how many phases are there? Because he's just... So it's almost, you know, he wants people to forget that they have any form of memory over the last 14 months of what's happened. And then he's just sort of slapped his knee or clapped his hands together, something like that, and gone, oh, right, it's great, thank goodness phase 1's over. Yeah, that was a bit rough. I think he called it doing the hard yards. Something along those lines. But no, it's great, it's sunlit uplands from here on in, because we're into merry, jolly, happy phase 2. which he didn't announce the scheduled ending of Phase 1. He just thinks that we'll forget about all of that shit because he's invented these now imaginary borders. I don't remember a Phase 1, that we were in a Phase 1 of anything, can you? What a load of fucking horse shit. You'll have to excuse my language, where some of these matters have been concerned tonight. But a lot of it is beyond the pale. It really is. And he won't even call them out. He won't even say that that sort of behaviour is indecent, it's wrong, it's certainly unpatriotic. No, instead, Cooper and Starmer are marching off the other way, flag in hand. Apparently, Cooper has a fucking Union Jack toilet seat. And toilet paper. She drives the same car as fucking Austin Powers does. They won't condone it. They certainly won't correct these, you have to be frank at this point, these thugs in what they're doing at the hotels on the actual facts of the matter, which are these. 83% of people in the United Kingdom are white, yet 88%, that's 5% more, sex offenders are white. And 42% of people like this, so people who've been arrested at recent protests, the Southport demonstrations, the Southport riots and so on and so forth, it turns out that 42% of them had previous convictions for domestic and or sexual abuse. So, tell us what you're protesting against. But you won't hear Stephen Morgan say that. You won't hear Yvette Cooper correct people on that matter, will you? So, yeah, just again. And it's statistics like that that should really simply nip the issue in the bud. Starmer wants to prolong it because he seems to think that he can outflank Farage to the right. Either that or he's holding the door open for him. It could be a bizarre combination of both. Speaking of reform, obviously Farage and Tice, the grifters, Yaxley Lennon, all the rest of them, they carry it on for the same reasons as ever more. They're just in it for the grift. And the fact that they are racist, whether they deny it or not. Graham Turner, that wasn't much of a warning. 82 seconds away from midnight on the nuclear war clock. I don't know where you heard that one. However, if it is true, well, so it should come that we're together at this moment when in 70 odd seconds, that could be it. That could be it. And here we are. We have 18 concurrent viewers, but all 163 viewers, I should say. Perhaps life on this planet didn't see itself out in the fashion that we'd hoped, but it's been an absolute pleasure. And I'll just leave the final minute by playing some of my pre-prepared comedy shite that I put together on the stream. Well, that's it. Goodbye and good night, everyone. No, it's not actually the end of the stream, I should say. That's put me off kilter with the rant there. But where the stats are concerned, if you ever find yourself in any sort of online trolling situation, just pull those up. How many seconds are left now? Have we survived? Well, I'll account for internet lagging and say congratulations, everyone. I'll just quickly check out the window. Nothing here. Anything at your end, people? Don't look at the lights, by the way. Just absolutely do not look. If it happens. That's the first thing. After that, and then, well, if you can, if you can see the explosion, chances are running won't make much difference. Let's just say that much. It's about 40. Okay, time's up. Done. Can I get out from under the table or not? Just no. I should have said something better, really, shouldn't I? In hindsight, those last moments. What I actually should have said was thank you very much to all of the members on the channel. That would have been a very fitting departure. Let me just remove the chat even so that we can see all of everybody's names. Thank you very much, everybody. Other ways to contribute on the channel super thanks are open if you're watching back later on. If you don't have the means to contribute through YouTube, there's also a Buy Me a Coffee page. There's a selection of options there. If you want to check them out, thanks to everybody who's bought coffees recently and also signed up to be a monthly coffee buyer, which is one of the features. Check out the link in the description of this stream or the channel. Another final plug for that feature that I mentioned as well. That's another great way to help support the channel now. You can hype our videos. If you'd like, that is a normal content video. You could hype this live stream, I guess, if the option's there. But I think preferentially, if you can hype one of the videos, that would be awesome. That's a non-live stream video, just a regular vid. And we'll see what happens, because it's a new feature, this hype thing, which kind of replaces trending, but it lets the audience decide with clicks what the preference is. So it's separate from the actual algorithm, as I mentioned. So final plugs taken care of. Excuse me. Dry throat this evening. Oh, having lashings of tea. I will be raiding into another channel. Please stick around, people, for some other great socialist content. Don't worry, I won't forget about the poll. This time I will announce a winner whilst on stream. Let's see who's around. It's going on 12:30. Bit of a late one, but we did have a lot to get through. I wish we could have stuck around a bit longer on a few topics, but time's against us. And we'll be going stateside to that space that is called this space. A fellow socialist YouTuber from the USA. So stick around. Yeah, it's a good stream. Make sure you give a thumbs up when we get over there. Give us a shout out in the chat as well. So, I hereby announce the poll is closed. And we do have a winner. So Kemi Badenoch wants to bring back fossil fuels. The question, which of the four options do you think that she'd also like to bring back? Do you think it would be lead piping, mercury in hats, thalidomide, and asbestos insulation? Well, I can now reveal that the winner with 36% was asbestos insulation, lead piping in second with 31%. Both mercury in hat production and thalidomide, not formaldehyde, idiot, got 15%. Thank you very much for voting, everybody who took part in the poll. Also, thank you very much to Graham Turner for that generous super chat there. Let's give that some love and solidarity. Big up Graham in the chat, please, people, before we leave. We leave this space to go to this space. And yes, I did say that correctly. It's the first PMQs since the summer break tomorrow, so I'll be back with that. So yeah, from where we are now, good night everybody. Free Palestine, power to the people. My Left Eye will be seeing you soon. PM Queefs. Andy. PM Queefs. I'm doing a post-credit scene here. Oh, sorry. Couldn't help myself. PM Queefs.
You dirty fecker.
That is definitely it though. I'll see you over on this space, or good night.